Some of the stories making headlines this hour, we begin with Israel called on for Palestinians in more areas of Gaza's southern city to Rafah to evacuate and head to what it calls an expanded humanitarian area in Al-Mawasi, in a further indication that the military is pressing ahead with its plans for a ground attack on Rafah. More in this report.
Smoke rises over Rafah on Saturday as Israel calls for Palestinians to evacuate and head to what it calls an expanded humanitarian area in Al-Mawasi. It's a further indication that the military is pressing ahead with its plans for a ground attack on Gaza's southern city. That's despite heavy US pressure and alarm expressed by residents and humanitarian groups. In a post on social media site X, a military spokesperson called on residents and displaced people in 12 neighborhoods in the enclave to go immediately to the shelters west of Gaza City. Gaza resident Nidal says despite the warning, he is unable to evacuate. He told Reuters he doesn't have a tent as they were all distributed yesterday, nor does he have cash to get a vehicle to move his belongings. These evacuations follow overnight Israeli jet strikes across the enclave. Israel's military said it was continuing precise operational activity against Hamas fighters in eastern Rafah and on the Gazan side of the Rafah crossing. On Friday, Israeli tanks captured the main roads dividing Rafah's eastern and western sections, effectively encircling the eastern side in an assault that has caused Washington to hold up delivery of some military aid to its ally. The latest evacuation orders came hours after internationally mediated ceasefire talks appeared to falter, with Hamas saying Israel's rejection of the truce offer returned things to square one. Israel says it wants to reach a deal under which hostages would be released in exchange for the freeing of Palestinian prisoners held by Israel, but that it is not prepared to end the military offensive which was triggered by a Hamas-led attack on southern Israel on October 7th. 1,200 people were killed and more than 250 people were taken hostage in the attack, according to Israeli tallies. Israel's military operation in Gaza, which it says aims to eliminate Hamas, has killed close to 35,000 Palestinians, according to Gaza's health ministry.
IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari spoke about the IDF's precise operation in Rafah. He said the goal is to ensure Hamas's defeat and release of hostages. Take a listen.
The Israel Defense Forces is continuing its precise operation against Hamas in Rafah. As part of our efforts to achieve an enduring defeat of Hamas and bring all our hostages home. Our operations against Hamas in Rafah remains limited in scope and focus on tactical advances, tactical adjustments, and key military advantages, and have avoided densely populated areas. Since the start of our precise operation against Hamas in Rafah, we have eliminated dozens of terrorists, exposed underground terror tunnels, and vast amounts of weapons. Prior to our operations, we urged civilians to temporarily move towards humanitarian areas and move away from the crossfire that Hamas puts them in. Our war is against Hamas, not against the people of Gaza. Over the last few days, we facilitated the entry of 200,000 liters of fuel through the Kerem Shalom crossing. We facilitated and coordinated the opening of a new field hospital in central Gaza. And we are operating to enable the flow of humanitarian aid to Rafah through the Salah ad-Din road. Over the last few days alone, we were all reminded why our pursuit against Hamas is vital. Hamas fired rockets from Rafah towards the Kerem Shalom humanitarian aid crossing, the very same crossing that Israel uses to facilitate the entry of humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza. And on Friday night, Hamas fired 9 rockets from Rafah at the Israeli city of Beersheba, hitting a children's playground. We will continue fulfilling our mission of achieving an enduring defeat of Hamas and bring our hostages back home.
Pro-Palestinian protesters clashed with police in Orlando, Florida on Saturday. The protesters alleged that the police sprayed pepper spray and tear gas on predominantly women and children who were peacefully protesting in a park. Israel's military operation in Gaza has killed close to 35,000 Palestinians. This is according to the Gaza's health ministry. Meanwhile, there are protests now taking place in Orlando, Florida. Protesters also clashed with the police while calling for a ceasefire in Gaza.
Do everything in my power to oppose genocide and to stand alongside the Palestinian people for their freedom, for all their land, every inch of it. I'm here to march with the state of Florida to oppose the U.S.'s policy of arming this genocidal regime, of working with it, of carrying out a joint genocide. And also as a Jewish person, it's particularly a Jewish person in the United States, is my utmost responsibility to be here with everyone who's here to stand.
The police pushed through, knocking over women and children and everybody to get to a young man with a bullhorn who they forcefully tackled for using a bullhorn, which is something you can give a desk appearance ticket to or say, hey, cut that out. They tackled him and they arrested him and pulled him out. When the crowd was asking, what are you arresting him for? They pepper sprayed the crowd. As the crowd began chanting, they moved across that fence line and put on gas masks and were preparing to tear gas a crowd of mostly women and children peacefully standing in a park chanting.
Police kettled us and stopped us from leaving the park. Even staying on the sidewalk, they refused to do so. And then when we gathered in a circle chanting, they barged on us and basically started pushing women and children, and then sprayed us with pepper spray, where you have kids and families coughing and their face burning all over. It's messed up. It's against anything that talks about human rights.
Shifting our focus to the Red Sea now at approximately 8:45 p.m. Sana time on the 10th of May, Iranian-backed Houthis launched an uncrewed aerial system over the Gulf of Aden from Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen. A coalition aircraft successfully engaged the UAS. There were no injuries or damages reported by US, their coalition or merchant vessels. Later, between approximately 4:30 a.m. and 4:45 a.m. Sana time on the 11th of May, US forces successfully destroyed 3 UAS launched by Iranian-backed Houthis over the Red Sea from Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen. It was determined that these UAS presented an imminent threat to both coalition forces and merchant vessels in the region. We see a quick break now. News and updates continue on the other side. Stay with us.
Film and entertainment is definitely one of the levers for any country to build its brand.
We are getting global. I feel that we're just on the takeoff.
More and more films are becoming language agnostic.
Content is a universal language.
There's one audience in the world.
Absolutely. End of the day, we all are like brothers who have mutual respect for each other from a different land.
Watch Allu Arjun on Duologues with Barundas. Streaming on News9 Plus.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है Money9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
Welcome back. The official death toll from devastating flash floods in northern Afghanistan has risen to 153 people across 3 provinces, the Taliban's interior ministry said there, while the World Food Programme said it was double that. The WFP, which operates throughout Afghanistan, said on X, formerly Twitter, that the floods had killed more than 300 people. It did not give a source for its figure. Taliban authorities sent helicopters to try to assist civilians overnight after receiving reports that over 100 people were stranded. Residents of a small town in Brazil's Rio Grande do Sul state grappled with catastrophic damage after heavy rains devastated their homes and streets. As authorities reported, the death toll has climbed to 136. Broken tree branches, mud and wreckage from homes littered the streets in the municipality of nearly 5,000 people. Storms and floods battering the South American country's southernmost state have also left people 5.3 lakh displaced. There, according to the local civil defense body, the state is at a geographical meeting point between tropical and polar atmospheres, which has created a weather pattern with periods of intense rains or drought. The biggest geomagnetic storm in 2 decades resulted in dazzling lights displays across large swathes of the Northern Hemisphere over the weekend. Curtains of green, pink and purple lights, known as the Northern Lights, could be seen around the world from Russia to the United States as well as in parts of Latin America, including a rare appearance in Mexico. Take a look.
Wow.
The biggest geomagnetic storm in 2 decades resulted in dazzling lights displays across large swaths of the Northern Hemisphere over the weekend. Curtains of green, pink, and purple lights, known as the Northern Lights or the Aurora Borealis, could be seen around the world from Russia to the United States, as well as in parts of Latin America, including a rare appearance in Mexico. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration described the event as extreme and warned on Saturday that the solar storm could pose risks to radio, GPS, and satellite communications. But Volker Bottmer, a leading astrophysicist at the University of Göttingen in Germany, said that while the solar storm is strong, it's not powerful enough to cause significant disruptions.
In the consequences of an extreme storm, you can have a lot of problems with the technology, infrastructure, communication, navigation systems, and so on. But this storm was not so extreme that we really have to fear of any severe damages.
Still, Elon Musk's satellite internet operation Starlink warned on Saturday of degraded service. Musk said earlier in a post on X that Starlink satellites orbiting Earth were under a lot of pressure, but were holding up so far. Geomagnetic storms are caused when explosions of plasma and magnetic fields from the sun's corona are directed at Earth. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration said the current geomagnetic storm is likely to continue through Sunday.
Shifting our focus here, former U.S. President Donald Trump on Saturday held a massive rally in Wildwood, New Jersey, a deep blue state. According to local media, Trump drew close to 1 lakh people to his mega event. Earlier on Saturday, Trump said that the former Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley was not being considered to be his running mate in the November election, dismissing a report by news site Axios. Trump traveled to New Jersey during a weekend break from his hush money trial in New York.
There would have been no war in Gaza with me in the White House. There would not have even been a chance. You know, Iran was broke when I was president. I said, if you buy oil, anybody buys oil from Iran, they can't do business with the United States. They were totally broke. Now they have $250 billion. They made it all in 3.5 years. When I was president, we had peace in the Middle East like never before, and I got the Abraham Accords done when nobody thought it was possible. When I'm president, we will not allow our colleges to be taken over by violent radicals. And if you come here from another country and try to bring jihadism or anti-Americanism or anti-Semitism to our campuses, we will immediately deport you. You'll be out of that school.
Trump traveled to New Jersey during a weekend break from his hush money trial there in New York. He's accused of fudging his family real estate company's records to cover up Cohen's $130,000 payment to porn star Stormy Daniels for her silence before the 2016 election about a sexual encounter she alleges she and Trump had in 2006. Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 accounts of falsifying business records and denies having sex with Daniels, who's 45 years old. Thousands of Taylor Swift fans lined up for hours in the sun in the western suburbs of Paris on Tuesday for the first night of the European leg of her billion-dollar Eras concert tour. Swifties, the name adopted by her dedicated communities of followers, there had slept outside the arena in La Défense, where she will give her first 4 concerts in Europe. They passed the time playing games, exchanging friendship bracelets and singing before a stop at the merchandise stand. Companies have previously reported a bounce in flight and hotel bookings around the dates. Swift is due to perform now in January. Spanish online travel bookings company eDreams said demand to fly to Paris jumped 108% around her Paris tour dates.
I never expected to get tickets, first of all, and I never thought to be in Paris during the moment where she would be touring. So it's just unreal, and I still can't believe right now that we're here waiting in line, and in a couple of hours we're going to see her on stage.
Yeah. Little me is kind of excited to be here, and it means a lot. We just get the chance to be here because a lot of Swifties didn't get the chance, and the fact that I am one of the persons who got to be here is incredible, and I'm so happy and so thankful for it.
We're slipping a quick break now. News and updates continue on the other side. Stay with us.
Can the Trinamool candidate from Baharampur hit the ball out of the park?
50-60 दिन बहुत ज़्यादा बोल रहा हूँ, उससे पहले ही काम दिखने स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे.
Pitted opposite Pathan in Team BJP is Dr. Nirmal Kumar Saha.
The fight is not Adit Chaudhary and Nirmal Saha. The fight between Modi versus Rahul Gandhi.
Yusuf Pathan and Nirmal Saha, 2 professionals who have switched to politics, are taking on Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Can one of the first-time politicians end his winning streak?
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
America, there is an inheritance tax. In India, you don't have that.
कांग्रेस की लूट जिंदगी के साथ भी और जिंदगी के बाद भी.
Our manifesto combines ideology with effective administration, with delivery that is long overdue.
Rahul Gandhi is talking about redistribution of wealth. You know, these are the things people are alert to. They want to know, what does Congress say when you say redistribute wealth?
Welcome back. Let's take a look at some of the stories, in fact, making headlines back home now. After coming out of jail, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has shared his packed schedule for today. Kejriwal will hold a meeting with the MLAs first time at 11 a.m. today. The meeting will be held at the Chief Minister's residence and civil lines. The key meet will see discussions on the Lok Sabha polls in Delhi on the 25th of May. Kejriwal will also hold roadshow at Moti Nagar at 4 p.m. and Uttam Nagar at 6 p.m. Meanwhile, while addressing his first rally a day after coming out of jail, Arvind Kejriwal said that voting for Narendra Modi in the Lok Sabha election 2024 would mean voting for Amit Shah. He said that Narendra Modi would retire next year after turning 75, and after Narendra Modi's retirement, Amit Shah would become the Prime Minister.
जब आप अगर जो वैसे तो मेरे को लगता है मैं भी आऊंगा उसके ऊपर, मुझे नहीं लगता इनकी सरकार बन रही है, लेकिन जो बीजेपी को वोट देने जाएं वो ये सोच के जाना कि आप मोदी जी के नाम पे वोट नहीं दे रहे, आप अमित शाह के नाम पे वोट दे रहे हैं।
Responding to these claims, Home Minister Amit Shah said that Kejriwal has nothing to be happy about Prime Minister Modi turning 75. He said that it's not written in BJP's constitution anywhere that Narendra Modi cannot be the Prime Minister. He will be the Prime Minister and complete his term. There is no confusion in the party. Listen in.
And company और पूरे इंडिया अलायंस को कहना चाहता हूं, मोदी जी 75 साल के हो जाए, इससे आपको आनंदित होने की जरूरत नहीं है। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी के संविधान में कहीं नहीं लिखा है। मोदी जी ही ये टर्म पूरी करेंगे और मोदी जी ही आगे देश का नेतृत्व करते रहेंगे। इसमें भारतीय जनता पार्टी में कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं है। ये कंफ्यूजन खड़ा करना चाहिए।
अमित शाह जी।
Rahul Gandhi said he or the party chief Mallikarjun Kharge would be pleased to participate in a public debate on the Lok Sabha elections and expressed hope that Prime Minister would also accept the invitation. Union Minister Smriti Irani took a jab at Congress leader Rahul Gandhi and questioned if Rahul Gandhi was the India bloc's prime ministerial candidate and whether he could debate with a person of stature like Prime Minister Modi.
दो चीजें, जिस व्यक्ति में इतनी हिम्मत नहीं कि वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के एक सामान्य कार्यकर्ता से अपने सो कॉल्ड गढ़ में चुनाव लड़ सके, वो डींगे ना ही हाँके तो बेहतर। लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री मोदी के साथ समतल एक समकक्ष बात करने वाले व्यक्ति से मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ, क्या वो इंडी गठबंधन के प्रधानमंत्री के उम्मीदवार हैं?
Rahul Gandhi accepted the invitation of Justice Madan B. Loko, retired Justice, their former chairman of the Law Commission of India, Ajit P. Shah, and senior journalist N. Ram, who had written to the Congress leader and the Prime Minister earlier this week, inviting them to a platform for a debate on the key election issues. In their letter addressed to the country's leaders, they had stated that the proposal for the debate was non-partisan and in the broader interest of every citizen. Taking to social media platform X, Rahul Gandhi said it would be a positive initiative for the major parties to present their vision to the country from one platform for a healthy democracy. Congress welcomes this initiative and accepts the invitation for discussion. He further wrote to the country also expects the Prime Minister to take part in this dialogue. Asserting that the BJP would not be able to win Odisha in the next 10 years, Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik on Saturday claimed his BJD would return to power for the 6th consecutive time after the assembly elections. Patnaik was reacting to Prime Minister Narendra Modi telling an election rally earlier in the day that the swearing-in ceremony of a BJP Chief Minister will be held in Bhubaneswar on the 10th of June.
मोर कौन मन अछि कि नहीं ओडिशावासी 24 वर्ष हैला भल भावरे जानी चंती किंतु माननीय प्रधानमंत्री आपण ओडिशा को केते मने रखी चंती ओडिया भाषा क्लासिकल लैंग्वेज हैला परे भी आपण ओडिया भाषा को भूली गले संस्कृत को हजार कोटी ओडिया भाषा को शून्य आपण ओडिसी म्यूजिक को भूली गले मु ओडिसी म्यूजिक को क्लासिकल मान्यता पाई 2 थर प्रपोजल पठाई थिली और आपण 2 थर रिजेक्ट कले ओडिशा रे बहुत वीरपुत्र अछंती केते ना आजी आपण भी कहले कई जन हेले भारत रत्न पाई कौन ठीक लागेलेनी आपण भारत रत्न बांटिला बेले ओडिशा रो वीरपुत्र बिजू पटनायक को भी भूली गले आपण चासी मानन को पाई एमएसपी 2 गुण करबा को प्रॉमिस करी थिले आपण ताकू भी भूली गले आपण ओडिशा लोकों को मने रखी कोस्टल हाईवे करबा थिला सेटा भी भूली गले ओडिशा रो संपद कोयला कोयला आपण नेउ छंती रॉयल्टी बढ़िबा पाई 10 वर्ष एला भूली गले केवल इलेक्शन टाइम रे ओडिशा को मने पकाइले किछि लाभ नहीं अपन.
On that note, it's a wrap on this edition of the Bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. News and updates continue on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Film and entertainment is definitely one of the levers for any country to build its brand.
We are getting global. I feel that we're just on the takeoff.
More and more films are becoming language agnostic.
Content is a universal language.
There's one audience in the world.
Absolutely. End of the day, we all are like brothers who have mutual respect for each other from a different land.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Boardroom Brunch on News9. I am Krishna Kumar.
And I'm Karthik Malhotra.
And on this special edition of Boardroom Brunch, we are trying to understand the future of hospitality and the ever-evolving consumer tastes and preferences. And to do that, we have a very special set of gentlemen joining us on this brunch. Let me begin by introducing Mr. Sanjay Sharma, Managing Director of India and Southeast Asia at Hyatt. We also have Mr. Kapil Chopra, founder of Easy Diner and the Postcard Hotels, and Ashish Kapoor, founder of many award-winning restaurants like Whiskey Samba and Wine Company and the boutique hotel Mademoiselle as well. Gentlemen, pleasure having you. Thank you so much for taking time.